Law and Eyewitness Memory by Christopher Gatlin. I chose this topic because I worked in the Applied Cognition Lab on campus, and we went over a lot of eyewitness accuracy and a lot of eyewitness memory tests. And so it's just really interesting to me. Confidence and false memories. On the right, there's a chart from a study done by Oscam. He did a confidence study where participants rated their confidence on individual questions, and so you can see that there's a positive correlation between accuracy and confidence, which means that accuracy rose as confidence rose. So as people were more confident in their answers, they gave more accurate answers. And that's important because it leads us into our next topic, metacognitive monitoring. So metacognitive monitoring plays a huge role throughout the rest of this conversation, so I just wanted to make sure that I defined it in the beginning of the PowerPoint. Metacognitive monitoring is a part of the metacognitive process when you monitor new information. So as you take in new information, you're forced to look over it, see how you feel about it, whether you're confident in that new information, whether you're ready to move on to new information, whatever it is, but you have to make a judgment on that information as you monitor it. Next, misinformation. So misinformation can affect the truth and warp memories. There's a famous study by Loftus where and it's even mentioned in the book, where he took participants and they watched a video on a car driving through a intersection. And in the video, you see a sign in the corner. It's a stop sign. But at the end of the study, the participants are given the question and it states a yield sign. And so people are more likely to say that it was a yield sign when it wasn't. And that's misinformation. That's when someone is given the wrong information after they've already made a judgment and it warps that memory. So can confidence be manipulated? Since you know accuracy can be manipulated. Confidence can be manipulated in a lot of ways, but definitely by repetition. If someone has already made a judgment and they feel confident in that judgment, and then they're constantly given new information and told, like, this is not right, this is not right, it can make you less confident in the information you do know. Does eyewitness confidence matter to jurors? In the book, it cites two different studies that attack this question. The Cutler, Penrod, and Dexter study used a mock jury to test whether witnesses' confidence affected jurors' opinion of the truth. So when witnesses seemed more confident in the information that they were given, they were seen as more truthful, or they were believed more. And in Tinney and McComb and Spellum and Hasty, it is a study in which they showed even though confidence is important, it can be overruled. So if someone is really confident in the beginning and they're really eloquent in the way they're speaking, it does lead you to believe that it's more believable. But it can be overruled if they slip up, if the cross-examination is, really tough, and they just aren't able to give accurate information all the time, then they can be overruled by someone with lower confidence. Lying. Can you detect lying? Yes. So there's a couple ways that you can detect lying. Deception cues are one. Everybody thinks, a family member, girlfriend, boyfriend, wife, husband, that you know their tells when they're lying. And so that's what deception cues are, when you notice things about someone's behavior when they're not telling the truth. Leakage cues. Whenever someone is trying to lie, but they start to give little bits of real, true information. And so those are leakage cues that you can anchor onto. Can lies become the truth? Yes. So there's that word repetition again. Lies can become perceived as the truth. They're still lies, but they can be believed if they're repeated. If someone constantly tells you that no, this is it, this is it, this is it, then it can be perceived as the truth, even though it isn't. Hindsight bias. Why does this occur? The anchoring view. Bias instead of memory creates a feeling of knew it all along. So the anchoring view is when you have a concrete fact in which changes your decision on whether you knew it all along or whether you felt a certain way about an event. Bryan and Brockway did a study that depicts this very well. Uh, within During the O.J. Simpson trial, they had participants make decisions on whether it would be an acquittal, second-degree murder, first-degree murder. And 2 hours before the verdict, acquittal was at 50% lower than all of the other options. By 48 hours after the trial, it was higher than second degree and first degree murder, and 100% of the participants said that they knew that he was acquitted. So that became a fact that they could then anchor this viewpoint on. 1 week after the trial, that acquittal number had rose dramatically, and second degree and first degree murder were alone 45% of the lower than 45% of the participants felt that way. So the memory view. The memory view is when too many influences are on your memory after you've made a decision. When information is coming from too many different sources and it starts to warp your feeling, you may feel after that you've known it all along, but you're just influenced by these memories. The personal needs view. The personal needs view is when someone just needs to be right. We all have that one friend who just always feels like they're never duped, they're never, surprised, that they just always knew it all along. And so that's what the personal needs view is. And these are my references.